there. Hi, Kimmy. Hi there. I'm Casey Christensen. I'm your independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in West Kelowna, BC, where it's currently raining. And that's okay. That's okay. We get a lot of good weather up here in Kelowna, but every once in a while it's nice to have some rain. It just keeps everything green and lush and beautiful. So today I thought we would play with a stamp set that's on its way out, but still available. We'll get to that in a minute, but before I do that, the new catalog, as I've mentioned before, the new catalog is out. Most of you have your catalogs now, or should have it by now. So I wanted to show you another suite in the catalog. I've shown you a couple already, but here's another one. I think I might be frozen. Kim, am I moving or no? Can you hear me? I'm definitely frozen. Okay, am I here now? I'm just waiting to, okay, I see myself now, so I'm not frozen anymore. Okay, so if you missed it, I'm Casey Christensen. I'm located in West Kelowna, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And I came on today to show you a new card using an outgoing set from the catalog that expires at the end of June. I'll show you what we're going to do. This is the mini catalog, so this is still available until the end of June. It's called Flowering Rain Boots. It is one of my favorites. I love things to do with flowers and gardening and boots. I love boots. So that's what we're going to play with today. But first, let me show you another suite that's in the brand new catalog that's just out. This one is called Butterfly Kisses. It's $93, and in this kit, you get the butterfly stamp set. Now this is photopolymer, which I'm a big fan of. I really like the photopolymer. And you also get the die set, Best Butterflies. This is the Best Butterflies bundle, okay? So the die set has lots and lots and lots of dies in there, lots of variation, different kinds of things that I personally have not seen before, like little frames with wings in them, that sort of thing, that you could use as masks. So great little masks in there, as well as the butterfly cutouts, and some great stamps and great sentiments here too, which are fun to use, sort of bolder sentiments. Sending you good vibes, so glad you exist, all the love, you're my bestie. And it's the dies in here are all mini embossing machine friendly too, which is nice. I like that. Not that I have anything against the big one, but it is nice to have the mini ones. You can just pop it up on your desk and be able to use it. Also in here you get the Butterfly Kisses 6x6 designer series paper. So this is beautiful. All our designer series paper have two sides to choose from. So even if you look at something and say, hey, that's not really my cup of tea, flip it over. Maybe the other side is your cup of tea. And then you get these beautiful fun flower resin shapes. That's hard to say fast. So these are adorable. I have ordered these. I think these are really adorable, these little flowers. Hi, Dorothy. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining me again. And so in this suite, the colors used are Calypso Coral, Crushed Curry, Parakeet Party, a brand new color, Starry Sky, also a brand new color and in color, and Fresh Freesia. So it's a gorgeous set. I have this on my wish list as well. And the nice thing, as I've mentioned before, about buying a suite is that you get a sampling of everything that's in there. So all you really need to do is maybe get some cardstock to round out what you need to make yourself some gorgeous cards. I'm really excited about these dies. They look very, very interesting and fun to work with. So they double as a mask as well as a die cut, as far as I can glean just from looking at the picture. Okay, so that's my recommendation for today. So let's put that away. So we're going to play with this one, and this is out of the mini catalog, and so it is still available to you until June. So let's get started with flowering rain boots. So I decided I did make a card already, so this is kind of the card we're going to work with. I'm going to work with this card, but do something a little bit different with it. Nothing too intense about this card. It's some basic white thick cardstock, some paper from this great set. Let me show you this set. This is a current DSP called Perfectly Penciled, and it's just black and whites, but lots of fun things. I like to take a black and white and then do a little coloring on it. So look at this one. How about that with some red and green coloring? And then the flip side of that one is, oh, that's not the flip side. Flip side of that one is this, right? So lots and lots of fun variations in this paper. You've seen me use this one with the Honeybee Home. Love these polka dots. Lots of fun things. This reminds me of quilting, double wedding ring kind of an idea. These big blossoms, these are just gorgeous. To be able to color these and then fussy cut them out, that's a whole card front in and of itself, right? So yeah, so lots of fun things to do with that. That's Perfectly Penciled. It's current, it's in the new catalog. And I love it. I've already ordered another package, but I thought I'd use something not terribly busy for this one today. So we're starting out with some basic white cardstock, thick. You always want to use the thick cardstock for your card bases. Otherwise, they're a little wimpy. So I've got that. Now I've also cut myself a piece of this Perfectly Penciled paper. As I always do, I pretty much cut it the same size as my card front, and I'll trim it down as I see fit as I work along. And I'm also using some, because I'm using the dye color, I'm going to use some Poppy Parade, which is a very vibrant sort of a reddish color. Can't say I've used a lot of this as yet, but because I'm using in my flowers, I'm using the Poppy Parade ink. I thought it would be nice to do a Poppy Parade accent down here at underneath my rain boots. So let's get started. We're going to get started by stamping some things, and for this you're going to want your Stamparatus, because I find sometimes that these particular dies need a little extra muscle, and so for me translation is stamp it again, stamp it again. So let's get out my dies, or my stamps. And this is a great set. You see, it's got so many variations, some nice sentiments here as well. You've got seed packages. You've got, what are they called? Somebody help me out. Oh, the storage sleeve, Dorothy. You can get, let me get the package for you. Let me get the package for you. You can get these on Amazon, okay? So this is the packaging here. I'm a little delayed. So there it is. Storage Studios. Okay, and you get 3 per pack. Don't ask me what they cost. I cannot remember. But what I love about them is I can fit 2 packages of DSP inside an envelope. And it's got this opening at the top here for you to easily get your hand in. And they also come with labels, although I haven't done that. I don't know if I'm going to label it or not. The fact that I can see through it, and I can see what my paper is called and what other papers I need to go along with it is enough for me. So I quite like those. I did not order mine at Amazon, actually. I ordered mine at scrapbook.com in the States, and I didn't realize they're also available on Amazon. So if I order more, it will be Amazon. Okay, so let's get a few stamps out that we're going to want to do. We want to do some boots, for sure. We want to do some boots, and we're going to do some flowers and some stems. And for the moment, that's all we're going to use, okay? So let's start with, I've got a little paper under here. I don't want to get this inked up, so I've got a little paper under here. So let's get my basic white, and I'm going to grab my boots first. And for the boots, I'm using Daffodil Delight, okay? So let's grab that. Now technically with the Stampin' Up, I could put all these stamps on and dye them all at the same time, but I'm a little too messy with my ink pads. I'm quite liable to get ink where it doesn't belong, so I'm just going to do them one at a time. But that's the beauty with the Stamparatus, is that you're able to do that. So let's pop that over, give it a little press, and see what we got. I like that, but I'd like it to be darker. Okay. Again, put a stamp pad underneath your glass plate here, so that when you're inking up your stamp, you have an even surface. You're not working on an angle. I just find that's a really good idea. And there I have gotten ink all over the place again, but that's how I roll. I'm good with it. You know, whatever. All right, let's pop that over. Give that another press and see how that one looks. Yes, much better. I'm fond of that. All right, so let's get that off. We'll give it a little clean. One thing you'll find with the poly, I really struggle with that. With these clear stamps, poly something, one thing you'll find is after a while the stamps will get to have a little bit of it's almost a bit of a fuzzy feeling to them. And all you need to do is just take them to your sink and drop them in there with a little soap and water, and all the fuzz will come off. It's just like they collect dust or something like that. It's just one of those things, right? So I cleaned mine today because I got them out to start to use them, and they just felt a little fuzzy to me. Fuzzy is the only word I can think of to describe how they feel when they get that way. But they do. They get a little fuzzy just from dust and use and stuff, but they're easily cleaned just with soap and water. Or even just with water. I used soap just because I was washing my hands at the same time. All right, so now we want to do some leaves. And I particularly wanted my leaves to be this nice granny apple green, because I think it suits the springiness, for lack of a better word. The card feels very springy to me, so I just feel like a nice granny apple green is the way to go. Remember to keep your placement clear, so that if you have to stamp twice, you can do that without getting things out of whack. Oh, I think that looks good with one stamping. I'm going to leave it with one stamping. And then we're going to do something a little different. Just a little bit different. Let's clean that off. It's nice to keep your stamps clean as you go. I haven't always been like that, but I'm trying to do better. Now these ones have all kinds of little nooks and crannies that are hard to clean sometimes. So sometimes what I do after I've done a live is I just take them all to the sink and run water on them. They don't need soap and water if they're not fuzzy. Just run water on them. It's like a little miracle. You can watch the ink just fall off, because sometimes it's hard to get it out of the little nooks and crannies. Okay, so I've got my leaves. I'm happy with my leaves. Next I'm going to do my flowers, and for my flowers I'm going to do two stampings. The first stamping I'm going to do is Daffodil Delight. And both of these stampings I'm going to do gently, if you know what I mean. I'm not going to hammer it down. I'm not going to use my tool here. I'm going to do a light stamping, and there's a good reason for that. I'm just going to lay it down. I'm not going to press on it too much. I'm going to press on it or it won't stamp, but I'm not going to press on it much. So that's Daffodil Delight. So for the first portion, I'm just going to do this. That's all I'm going to do. Okay? That's all I'm going to do on there. And that's just a beautiful stamping of the Daffodil Delight. I'm not even going to clean it because I don't feel the need to. Next, I'm going to take my Poppy Parade. Yes, you can use that chamois to death. And I have. I've scrunched it up in a ball. I've used the corners to get in places. It's a pretty durable little thing, and it's an absolute must-have. So now I've inked up my stamp with the Poppy Parade, and I'm going to bring it down, make sure everything's lined up again. You can never overdo that little tip. And again, just a finger. I'm just going to do this. Not much of anything. Okay, I want to do that again. Not happy, not happy. It's too red. It's just too red. I think I needed to do my yellow a little harder, which I can do. I can do that. It's all redoable. So let's get my, I'm going to save those. I can use those for something else. But I guess I want to stamp my yellow a little harder. So get that on there. I'm going to stamp my yellow a little harder and stamp my red a little lighter. How's that? Because I want that two-tone that I've got in the other one, in the card I showed you there. Can you see it's kind of two-toned there? I'm aiming for that. Oh yeah, I will be coloring it because I don't like these white spaces. They're just not for me. Not to say there's anything wrong with them. They're just not for me. The white spaces in here, I don't care for that. And I'm going to do this again. I'm going to do this twice. I really want that yellow to be strong. Okay, so that's a pretty strong yellow. Now I'm going to give, I guess, a lighter tap. I can't, you know, I only just made this card today, but I'm not quite sure what the difference is between what I did then and what I'm doing now. But who knows? I was visiting with my friend Susan while I was doing it, and I may not have been giving it 150% of my attention. It's possible. It's possible. We were gabbing about stuff and going through the catalog, and all right, so let's just give that red a tiny bit. No. Well, for whatever reasons, it's not coming out the same as it did this morning. But I guess that happens. But that's okay. It will when I do some coloring on it. Okay. And boy, oh boy, I am covered in red ink. I'm covered in red ink. That's the downside of red ink for me. I tend to wear more than I put down. Okay, so let's get the stamp apparatus out of the way for the moment. That's all we need at this time. So I'm going to take my marker. I'm going to use, this is So Saffron. I'm going to start with my boots. This is So Saffron, and I'm going to, I believe it's So Saffron. Yes, dark, So Saffron dark. And I'm going to use the paint brush, and no, I'm not. Oh my gosh, that's a mess. Why is it such a mess? Let me see. I think I've been a little hard on some of my blends. So we're just going to take this and we're going to go over. Do you see where the white is? I'm not a fan of that. I'm just not a fan of that. So I'm going to go over where the white is, and I'll blend it into the other portions of the boot. I don't really want to color over the whole thing. I'm just sort of blending. Here's a super duper cute idea. I just didn't have anything, but because of the new papers that are coming out, I don't have a lot of paper. But how about stamping this boot die on a piece of polka dot, tiny polka dot? I'll show you what I have in mind. I can't use it because it's not current. But how about stamping those boots on a little color like this, and then, or a little card like DSP like this, and then coloring it, you'd get little polka dot boots. How cute. How cute is that? So you see, I've just added color. I'm not coloring over the whole thing because I'm afraid I'll lose a little bit of my shadowing. So I'm just adding a little bit of color there. I'm going to do the same thing with, I like these ones better. The lower ones turned out better. I'm going to add some yellow to my flowers as well, because I want them to have a little more character than just a plain old red tulip. Okay, see how I'm getting a nice little a little variation on my tulips. It's the dark, it's dark so saffron. Yeah, it's dark so saffron. And then we'll take our Granny Apple Green, same thing. Some of this I'm going to have to do with the narrow side of the, you know, your Stampin' Blends have a paintbrush side and then a fine detail side. I've got some stems here that I want to use the fine detail side for, so I'm going to do that. It's raining here in Kelowna. My poor husband's out there putting the roof on our shed. We have a fair amount of toys, and so we need a shed to put the toys in. So the idea was to get the roof on yesterday, but as luck would have it, and as it does happen around here, we got 2 bouts of dropping company yesterday, and so that kind of slowed down the roofing process. He wanted to have the roof on before the rain came, so that didn't really happen, but it's okay. It's not too bad. So now we'll just add a little bit of Granny Apple Green to our leaves here, just sort of fill them in. We don't necessarily need to cover the entire area unless you want to. I'm not like totally coloring it. I'm sort of brush stroking color onto it. And so as much or as little color as you would like to have, that's your prerogative. I'll go back and do some of these ones that are that need the fine end of the pen, but right now I'm just doing the ones that I can do with the paintbrush end. For me, coloring all depends on the day. Some days I'm really good at coloring, and some days I do nothing but make a mess. So on the days when I do nothing but make a mess, I'll choose one of those stamp sets that allows you to drop the color in, like this sort of thing, right? This sort of thing, you get your coloring done, but you're not having to, oh, it's raining everywhere, is it? You get your coloring done, but you're not having to do the fine work. Some days I'm really good at that, and other days I'm not so good. And then I get frustrated with myself. As much as I try not to, I do. And so, there we go. They're pretty, right? Now that's with the dark. If you wanted to, I just chose to use the dark. You could also have colored in the light and added some accent with the dark, but I'm okay with using, oh no, I'm lying to you. Again, I'm lying to you. Somebody should just fire me. I do have the dark one here. So now that I've done the light one, I'm going to take the dark one, and just wherever I see shadowing, if you look on the stamp itself, there's all kinds of shadowing in here, you see? So now I'm just going to go back with my dark pen and go in where the shadowing is and add a little bit of extra detail color. Not very much, okay? Just with the tip of your... So see how I've done that? Now right now it looks blotchy and I'm not crazy about it. So now I'll go back in with my lighter pen and I'll just draw some of that color out so that it looks a little bit more natural. Okay. Oops. Okay. So now that we've done that, we're going to cut our components. I want to be able to do this in the small in the small embossing machine. So I'm just going to cut my components here. These are my Ginger scissors. Now, I've been sewing for probably 58 years now, and I'll tell you what, if I ever caught anyone in my house using my Ginger sewing scissors for cutting cardstock, I would have locked them in a room somewhere. But you know what? I love these scissors. I have many, many, many pairs of scissors, so I decided, because they're so pretty, aren't they pretty? These are the collector ones. Because they're so pretty, I decided to add these ones to my card making room. I have lots of others I can use in my sewing room, but I just think it's funny looking back on how I used to be about my scissors, and now I'm doing it. Now I'm using them. Yeah, but that takes practice. The blending does take practice, Kim. It really, really does. And, you know, sometimes you just want to have a day where you sit down and you try things, and it's either going to work out great or it's not. If it doesn't, try again. You know, it's like anything else. Give it another try and see what you can come up with. So I'm going to get out my little cutter here, my little embossing machine here, which I absolutely adore. I'm always pretty jazzed when when I see that the dies in any given set are user friendly for this, because I'm working in a pretty small space right here, and it's not that I can't turn around and use my big one at any second, but I just like that I can just pull this one up and use it right on my space here. So let's get our stuff ready that we want to do. We've got a few things that we need to do here. I'm just putting my stamp pieces back before I lose them entirely, because that's kind of how I roll. All right, so everything's put back. Let's get our dies out. Look at the dies for this. They're gorgeous, right? You get this little trellis one too, which I like. I didn't like it for this particular card, and I made one which would be really nice if I could show it to you, but right at the moment I can't find it. Is that it? No. Anyways, it makes a really cute little trellis, so you can use that too. I tried it out. I just didn't like it for the card that I'm working on right now. So let's get ourselves, first we're going to do our stems. This is definitely going to require washi tape, so let's get out some of that. And we'll just tape that down. And get ourselves a couple of plates. With your mini embossing machine, the intention is to use your number 1 plate and 2 of your number 2 plates like this. But I've been experimenting with mine, and I'm not the only one that finds that they get a better cut if you use a number 3 plate. So try it yourself and see what you get. Now, having said that, I also like to do a lot of pieces that have the adhesive on the back, which is a little thicker to cut. But I've sort of disbanded with the number 1. I hardly ever use it at all anymore. My go-to is these two. And then, of course, I'll show you in a minute. I'm also going to do some embossing on this little guy. But see how you feel about it. It's your own preference. Kim, no, you wouldn't need the washing tape if you get the magnetic plate. Do you mean the magnetic plate that's come out? You don't need the washi tape if you're using the magnetic plate, because things have a tendency to just stick to it as they should. Now, having said that, the 2 new magnetic plates that are in the new catalog, there's one for the large cutting machine and one for the mini. The mini one, I wasn't able to order it. Now, I don't know if that means they don't have their stock in yet, or whether I didn't order it quick enough and it's sold out. I wasn't able to order the small one, but I was able to order the large one, and it will be here on Monday or Tuesday. And so I will definitely demonstrate that for you, and it will be coming out for the little one. I know it will, because it's in the catalog. It has to, right? So, but no, then you don't need the washi tape at all if you're doing that. Okay. So let's cut this. Let me get my nice card out of the way before I make a mess of it. Okay. There's my first piece. It's gorgeous, right? Look at that. So I'll save my, oh, I didn't save my washi tape. I meant to save my washing tape, but I made a mess of it, so I can't reuse it. Normally you can reuse your washi tape several times over, but I just kind of made a bit of a mess of mine, so I can't. So the boots are next. We'll do our boots. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that plate. I'm so excited. I've got, my orders are coming on Monday. So I think what I'll do on Monday, if anyone's around, I'm going to pop on and unbox my order for you to see all the stuff that I got, and then I'll come back on at 4 o'clock. I'll do that when the order comes. I don't know what time the order's coming. I shouldn't really say I'm going to do that until I know my order is here, but it's supposed to come Monday, so maybe we'll see what time it arrives and if I can pop on. All right. So there's our boots. And now we'll do our flowers. Got my flowers here. This is a really pretty set. Oh, I'm not doing a good job of getting that washi tape off without destroying it. I have a tendency to stick it down too hard, and then when you peel it off, it peels the paper off with it. But I'm always worried that things are going to move, so I have a tendency to stick it down really hard. But you know, washi tape is cheap like borscht. It's always there when you go to Staples or whatever, and you go through the checkout. You know, those tempting little buckets of things they have at the checkout. It seems to me there's always washi tape there, dirt cheap. And so that's kind of a okay way to grab it. Oh, don't know why I'm doing that twice. I just felt I'm using 2 number 2s and 1 number 3, which is not the way they're intended to be used, but I like it. Okay, so now I've got my things cut out, and I'll show you something that I really like about this particular stamp set. The way that these stamps stamp out. Okay, that's that for the moment. Okay, just for the moment. We're going to get back to that in a minute. Oh, let's do our other piece while we have the machine sitting here. The next piece I'm going to do is this Poppy Parade. It's a yummy, yummy color. And I'm going to use my small embossing folders that fit in the mini. This one is called Stripes and Splatters, and I really love them both. They're both very versatile. But right now I'm going to use stripes because it just lent itself well. So let's go over this again. I want to open up my embossing folder with my Stampin' Up label legible and facing the right side up. Now these are stripes, so you kind of want to lay your piece of paper in somewhat evenly. Okay, so you're not getting weird shaped stripes. Just drop it in there and close, and you're always going to send it into your machine from the fold side. Always, always, always. And to do this, I'm going to use number 3 again, which is what I've been using all along. Number 3, my embossing folder, and then number 4. Okay? And make sure that you stagger at the ends so that you don't have to fight so hard to get the thing in there. If you stagger it, it sort of floats in on its own. Wait till you see this. This is so cute. I love this embossing folder. Okay. I'm excited to see how beautiful it's going to be on this color of paper, too. I loved it on the yellow. Oh, look at that. That is a gorgeous, gorgeous emboss. Can you see it there? It's much prettier than it's showing up on the camera, but it's very pretty. I like it a lot. Okay, so that's all we need to do with our embossing machine. Next, you're going to get out your your silicone craft sheet. And this is what keeps your space tidy, because anything you get on here, just you can throw it in the sink and everything washes off, right? It's just a little platform to use for glue, or let's just say you were taping something that had holes in it. Like, here's a perfect example. If you were, let's say you had a die cut of this. Let's pretend this is a piece of paper, okay? Pretend this is a piece of paper. And I wanted to stick this down, but it's very detailed and very delicate. I could go right over it like this with my tape. And then when you lift it off, the tape that you don't need is down here, and only the paper has tape on it. I don't know if I explained that very well, but that's what your silicone craft sheet is for, and to keep things from being messy when you're gluing. So these little bits here, I like to cut these apart. So there's a very distinct two sections of leaves here, which I like. So I'm going to just cut here, and I'm going to separate those. It means you have to tidy up this one because it has some little knobby bits that stick out and look kind of funny. So I've got two pieces now of stem, and I'm going to do the same thing with my flower. Just do the most, there we go. And then tidy up this flower because it's now got a couple of little stickety outy bits. Okay, so that's my flowers. So now we're going to put these together, and all you're going to do is take your, the flowers do line up beautifully with the stems, okay? So each of these flowers is going to line up with a stem. So all I want to do here is I'm going to take my craft glue, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue at the bottom edge of my flowers, just at the bottom edge. I'm going to stick them on there. And before they get too stuck, let's pick them up from the craft sheet so that they're not gluing themselves down to the craft sheet, okay, to the silicone sheet. Same thing with this one. See, I've got glue there. Same thing with this one. We're going to add glue all the way along the bottom portion. Okay. Turn that around and just stick it down to our flowers. Okay. So I'm going to give that a little push just to make sure that the glue is sticking on there. And then we got our two flower bits, okay? So the next thing you want to do is, with your boots, my intention is to put one set of flowers in here and one in here, so you get your kind of three-dimensional feel there, okay? Now, I'm just going to point this out because I see this a lot on cards on Pinterest and stuff like this. I see where people lay it down and then they lay their next piece. They put their boots down and then they lay their next piece up here, okay? Be aware that these flowers are supposed to be coming out of the boots, okay? So do your best to plant them in there. Again, a little bit of glue on the bottom edge of the flowers. And just plant them in there to the best of your ability to make them look like they're coming out of there. That's the whole point, right? I don't know why it happens that way, but I have seen it several times where they're detached from the boot, and I don't think, I want this one to be behind that one a little bit, so I'm just going to pull it forward. All right. So there's my one piece of plants in boots. Plants in boots. Okay. So now let's get this. Again, this is just your standard card size, 5.5 by 8.5, and then scored at 4 1/4. Okay. And I'm going to use the lighter side of this paper. I love both sides, but I'm going to use the lighter side. Let's just make sure this is not got any glue on it. I'm going to use the lighter side because I think the darker side would be a bit much for this card. And because we've done our card white, we don't really need to do anything inside the card. I mean, we could put a sentiment, but you know me. I like to wait until I've decided what the card's going to be for before I do my sentiments. Oh, guess what I forgot to do? I forgot to trim it. That's okay though. I know I just need a little bit off the bottom. So I can pop it in here. At least I think I can. And if I can't, oh well, I'll figure it out. Let's see if that'll work. Oh, we've got goo everywhere there. Let's see if that'll work. And this paper has a direction. Keep that in mind, okay? I think it would look a little goofy if it was like that. So it does have a distinct direction. There we go. Okay. So this is going to go across here. Now I see I need to trim a little bit off. And so I don't want to get pencil on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark it with my, I put a little dip in it with my take your pick tool. So I can just lop that off. So now I'm definitely going to dimensionalize this because I think it deserves it. Ooh, I'll be using this striped one more often. I hadn't used it before. I was sort of stuck on using the splatter one because I love the splatter one so much. So I'll be using the striped one. This is really, really cool. I like it quite a bit. And we don't want any soggy middles, as Andrew would say. So let's pop our dimensionals in the middle as well. Little rectangles everywhere. I find these everywhere in my house. My husband just laughs. They are everywhere. So just put this wherever makes you happy. I'm just going to drop it right about there. And you can get all fancy and get out a ruler if you want and make sure it's straight, but I'm just going to plop it down there. And then I'm going to take my, well, now, having said that, I'm about to drive myself crazy, aren't I? Nope, I'm not. Okay, so now this one, we're going to want to put dimensionals on here as well. We're going to have to use the big ones and the little ones, which I just had in my hand. Okay, so you're going to put little ones on the flowers, okay, because they need to be dimensionalized as well. Otherwise, they're just kind of flapping at the top of the card, right? We don't want that. No flapping. And just put as many as you feel like. I really like dimensionals, so I put a bunch. It's my technical term for how many. A bunch. Put a whole bunch. And then we want to be, these are all off of the red, so we're okay with having dimensionals on all of those, but we have to be careful where we put the dimensionals. Sort of like the middle of the boot is where you're going to put the dimensionals for the boots, because we don't want the dimensionals off of the red paper there. We sort of want them to stay in the general area of the red paper. All right. So just go ahead and plant your boots wherever they make you happy. I kind of like right there. Right there is working for me. Pretty. Okay, so now we want to have a sentiment. Now, this is my go-to right now until I get some other things from my new order. I'm afraid this is my go-to at the moment for sentiment, because I want a sentiment that will fit nicely on this red card area, and that's it. That's the sentiment that fits nicely on the card area. Alternately, you could maybe do a circle. It would look nice with a circle on it. There's all kinds of things. There's rectangles here. But for me, the sentiment that I want to put on here is just thank you. I thought it would be a good idea to make some thank you cards. Or hello beautiful. Let's do hello beautiful because that's way more fun than thank you. You could say hello beautiful and then put thank you on the inside, right? Let's do hello beautiful because it's so cute. So now we're going to take our big surprise evening evergreen. I know that shocks you that I'm using that color because, you know, I use it darn near every card. But that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm just going to grab myself a little bit of the Whisper, or I keep saying Whisper White because that's what it used to be called. It's now called Basic White. It used to be Whisper White. Nice little hello beautiful there. Gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Oh, and do run your finger right into the ink. Oh, goodness. Okay, and then let's get our sentiment, our die. This is from the Hello Beautiful set. It is a bundle. You can buy things separately if you're really crazy about the one or t'other. You can buy them separately, but you save 10% if you buy them as a bundle. So that's why, and also I just always buy the bundle because it never seems to fail for me anyways. The day I decide, oh, I don't really need the dies, I'm just going to get the stamps, I'll see something online and go, darn it, I knew I should have bought those dies. So I do tend to buy the bundle. You save a little money that way. So all right, so again we're going to use piece number 3 and 2 number 2s and just line that up there. Put it on a bit of an angle so that straight line is not going straight through the machine. It just cuts better. A little less resistance too when you're trying to wind it through. And this one, the last card I did, I felt the need to have a little color in behind the sentiment. This one I do not, simply because I'm putting it on red. Oh, I just really like that. I'm putting it on red, so I don't really feel the need of an alternate behind it, okay? So that's my sentiment. I'm going to pop that up as well with dimensionals. And then we're going to do pick it up. So let's get ourselves some of the big dimensionals. And I'll put, I'm going to put 3 on there. Very nice. And I'm going to put it down a little bit, just a little bit different from the last card I did. Pop that down a little bit. And now I'm going to get a piece of this great, this is current, so you can order this. This is Windowpane Czech ribbon, and it's done in Evening Evergreen. Evening Evergreen. I love this ribbon. It's very soft, so it's pliable, and it's easy to tie bows and make things like that. So I'm just going to make myself a little bow. Little being the operative word here. I don't want it to be a great big honking bow. So let's see if I can, oh, can't grab onto that. Hang on. Oh, that's very messy. Just a second. There are good days for bows and there are bad days for bows, I'm here to tell you. This morning was really good. This afternoon, maybe not so much. Let's see what I can do. problem is the piece is too small, so I'm going to use a bigger piece. Don't panic. None of this goes to waste. I use all my little bits of ribbon and everything, but I just need a bigger piece to be able to make this bow. Okay, so it starts out as a big bow, and that's not what I'm wanting. So I'm going to tighten it up, and then I'm just going to draw in the ends until I get something that I like. And you just have to keep tightening and drawing it in and tightening and drawing it in, and this is not working out very well. Why? Well, probably just because I'm live, right? That's why it's not working out very well. There we go. There we go. It's getting better. It's getting better. I just want a little bow. A little bow. Like, look at this one. Oh, I've lost the card already. Yeah, I have no idea where that card is. I know I put it out of harm's way, but Lord knows where that is. Oh, here it is. See? That's the kind of bow I'm looking for. Just a little bow like that. I just want a little tiny bow. It's getting better. Perseverance. There we go. And I'm kind of liking this one. It just always takes me a minute. Okay, see that? Now, what I'm going to do is, I've got my glue dots here, and what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take my bow, and I'm actually going to just pop it onto a glue dot, but I'm going to see if I can grab a couple of them, maybe even 3 for extra stickum. You want to puff up your bow a little bit. And I'm just going to stick that right there. How cute is that? So we need some bling. These are a great idea if you haven't seen them before. These little mini clips. I call them ribbon wranglers. That's not what they are. They're just little bulldog clips, miniature bulldog clips. You can get these. I got mine on Amazon in a little bucket. And they're great for just keeping your ribbons in check, right? Otherwise, I've got ribbon ends flying everywhere. So, great little tip for keeping things a little bit more organized. And that way, when you're tossing them in your go bag or whatever, they're not going to end up a big ball of stuff. So, I need something with a little more life in it for this one. I did do the Parakeet Party green on this one, on the yellow one. But I think I want something with just a little bit more something to it. I wish I had something in Evening Evergreen, but I don't. So let's just see what I can use. Maybe. Let's try coloring some rhinestones and see what we get there. I'm going to try a couple because I don't know if I want them to be Evening Evergreen or if I want them to be the Granny Apple Green. Let's try coloring one Evening Evergreen and see how it looks. Oh, okay, I'm liking the Evening Evergreen. I'll show you. Let's get one. Gonna need some more rhinestones soon because I'm running out of the larger ones. That is lovely. Okay, I want 2 more. Just going to color these up with Evening Evergreen blends. I think I'm going to pop one down there. A little unexpected, right? Cool, look at that. That's just what it needed. It needs something a little darker than the other one, a little bit darker. So there you have it. There's my 2 cards. Well, I didn't really mean to make two, but I like to do a sample card. And I've got a show coming up that I'm in, so I'm doing a lot of sewn items and cards, so I'm sort of stepping up my production on my cards. But I quite like those. I like that particular set quite a bit. I was on it the second it came out. I'm looking for a bone folder everywhere, anywhere. There we go. There we go. There we go. And then inside, I'm just thinking inside. Do we want to put anything inside? I don't know if I do or not. I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to put anything inside of this one. None of the stamps quite jump out and grab me. There's nothing on here that I think. I guess maybe you could put. No, the boots are there's too much. Like if you did the boots in like a pale color inside, I don't know. I don't know if it would look very good. So I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it and give it some thought. But so you've got your catalogs. Does anyone have any favorites that they're looking at in the catalog, or just like me and it's everything? Like I'm just beside myself. I don't know what to order. So I did an order, and already I'm thinking, oh, I should have got that, and I should have got that, and I should have got that. But you know, you can't have it all. Well, you can, but then it'd be no fun collecting if you've already collected it all. That's the whole point of collecting, is a little bit as you go, right? So enjoy your new catalog. If you have any questions at all, you can get in touch with me. Thank you for joining me today, and I'm thinking I'll be back tomorrow. I'm not 150% sure of it, but rest assured you will get only $500 without stamps and inks. Yes, I feel your pain. I feel your pain. It's a great catalog. It's a great catalog. When I first saw the stuff that was going out of the previous catalog, I was like, oh my gosh, there's nothing left. What are you doing getting rid of all this stuff? But now that I see the new catalog, I get it. There's just so much in there, and I can hardly wait to get started with the stuff. So, okay, so that's me for today. My husband's in the kitchen making dinner, so I'm going to go see what he's up to. Go ahead and check me out on Instagram, Stampin' with Casey, YouTube, Stampin' with Casey, and you know that I'm here. So I will see you probably tomorrow at 4 o'clock, but I will send out a notice to let you know if I'm going to be on at 4 o'clock. So thanks again for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.